Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike here, back in the aquarium lab with a brand new vlog video. It's looking more like the aquarium dump out here. Let me go ahead and flip the camera around and show you. So I had a regular video planned for you guys yesterday, but to be honest with you, I've just been totally overwhelmed with work and fish tank work, and as you can see, the lab is totaled right now. There's stuff everywhere. I can't work like this. I need to spend multiple hours cleaning this stuff up once I get this video uploaded, but don't worry, I promise I'll throw some cool stuff into this video so you guys won't be totally wasting your time. Consider this to be like an update vlog on what's going on. We'll head outside and check out some of the plant ponds, talk about them, what I need to do tonight because it's gonna freeze, and we're gonna talk about the 90, we're gonna talk about some other stuff here in the 125 and the 72. I got boxes that I need to open. I got, tanks over here. This is one of the 20s, one of the two 20s that I'm taking the rim off to use in the two new tank setups, which I'm not gonna get into, too much detail about today, but they're gonna be really cool and you guys are gonna love them. So, I mean, it's a mess in here. So the 90-gallon tank has fish, guys. You can see that there's a lot of schoolers in here. There's probably like 30 or 40 fish in here, and I'm sorry, I can't show you this yet because I'm working on a big reveal video. I'm super excited to show you guys. You guys were awesome with the recommendations, and I think I picked out just the right fish for this community tank. So be on the lookout for that video in the next few days. Don't be too bummed though, at the end of this vlog, I will give you a little sneak peek of what's in here, so make sure you stay till the end. It's really cold out here, guys, so I'm gonna try and do this as quick as possible. Tip number one, don't leave a Tupperware tub full of water. But let's check out pond number one. Now this is the dwarf sage pond that I did last summer. Now guys, I have all the footage from all the ponds that I did back here, and it's pretty much all edited and ready to go. I'm just waiting to do a little bit of a voiceover and get it really good so you guys can see it. But I just wanted to show you guys the ponds really quick here. Again, it's gonna freeze tonight, and I wanna get some of the stuff out of here just in case that freeze ends up killing these plants. Now the dwarf sage, you guys know, is really hardy, but I don't think it's gonna be able to take a freeze very well. But let's just take a look here at some of this dwarf sage. Again, the entire pool is just filled with it. It's just a massive carpet and it's all attached. But you can see here's a piece that we can just pull that out. And look at all that dwarf sage. Check out that root mass. Now you'll notice that the tips of the leaves look a lot different. Now this is the immersed growth phase of dwarf sage. You can see the frond morphology is a lot different. You get that flat part up at the top. Those leaves grow up out of the water, and then they change their morphology. So what I did throughout the summer is as they would pop up, I would cut them back. And that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take these pieces out, cut the tops off, and then I'm gonna be left with some just regular looking dwarf sage. And it's, basically an instant carpet. I can just plop that down in a new tank if I wanted to. So I gotta go through all of this and pick out what I wanna keep. And then I'm probably gonna let, probably more than half of it just freeze over and see what happens, because I don't have use for all these plants, and I bet you a lot of it's going to survive. That's what I'm thinking, at least. This was the species red or the super red Liguigia, whatever you want to call it. There's a ton of it in here, man. I bet that's more than 1,000 stems, and I can't use all of this, guys. But you can see, look at that plant. Just cut that off, planted in the tank, just like I did in the 90. This is where all the Liguigia came from that's in the 90. You can just cut that and place it right in the tank, and it's not going to melt, it's not going to do anything but grow really good. This is a super hardy plant. So I got to go through and I got to cut this up. The pond over here, covered in all the leaves, is some Liguigia palustris, and I'm just going to go through, take the cuts of what I want, and then let it winter over like I did last year. Let's go ahead and take a clump back in with us. Ooh, that's messy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill up this Tupperware tub with a couple inches of water, and then I'm gonna set in a bunch of chunks of dwarf sage, go through, probably trim it up, and then leave them in there for a while until I have somewhere to put them. My plan tentatively is to use some of these plants in the 220-gallon tanks that I'm setting up here in the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be really nice. I'm going to get this instant carpet right away, right in the places in the tank where I want them. So what else do we have plant-wise? Well, here's a new addition. This is some Hygrophila pinnatophyta that I got at the fish store when I went and I got the first batch of fish for the 90. And I got more than a few stems. There's 1, 2, 3, I think, here in the 72. And then there's a few other stems in the 90. And then I also put some over here in the 125. And the reason why I spread these out into 3 different tanks is because I actually haven't had the best luck with this plant in the past. On 2 separate occasions, I've had this plant in my tanks and it just doesn't work out, and I can't really figure out why. It's just one of those things where a small variation in water chemistry can affect a plant. And for a lot of people, pinnatophyta is not a hard plant to grow, but for me, for whatever reason, it is. So I'm really trying to figure out why, so I can get it to grow really well, because it's an awesome plant, guys. It's like one of my favorite plants that I see in super awesome aquascapes. So Oliver Knott is a pretty famous aquascaper, guys. I'm sure you've heard of him. You've seen his works. He uses pinnatophyta in a lot of the tanks that he does, and he can get this plant growing like super dark red, even purple, and I'm really jealous of that. I wish that I could do that with this plant. That's my goal. So I have it here in the 125 where the lighting is really low right now. I actually swapped out the bulbs and I'm only running 1 bulb on both of my fixtures here. You can see there's only 1 bulb on there. And so this is like a really low light environment. Here in the 72, the lighting is pretty much the highest out of all of my tanks. Also has soil like all my tanks do. And over in the 90, the lighting is less than it is in here, but I'd say it's probably a little bit more than what's going on in the 125 right now. So we'll see what happens with this plant. You know, nothing's happened yet. These have been in here for a couple days, and I haven't gotten any yellowing or anything, which is what I've been used to in the past. So fingers crossed, we figure out how to grow this plant in my water conditions, and we can make it look really good. So I've had a couple people ask me recently about my CO2 diffuser that I'm using over here in the 72. This is a Mr. Aqua Turbo CO2 diffuser. It's of course an in-tank diffuser. It's a pump. You plug the CO2 in on the back side over here. Can't really see it because there's some stuff in the way. The CO2 pumps in and the pump swirls around the CO2 bubbles in this chamber. Then they trickle out the bottom of this little container here, this cup that you can see through that's covered in algae at the moment, obviously. And it works pretty good. I like it. You can see that there's some larger bubbles that are popping out of the top here, or the side. And that's basically just because I am overloading this thing. I'm pumping a ton of CO2 through it. I don't even know what my bubbles per second is right now. It's through the roof. That was sort of my goal with the 72, was to be a really CO2 rich tank, and this thing's working out pretty well. I like it. So I'll go ahead and throw a link down in the description so you can check out this thing if you're interested. I ended up putting another accent rock here in the Tetra tank here on this left side cave, and if you stand at just the right angle, I'm trying to get to it right now, but there's things behind me, it ends up giving you a pretty cool effect. I think it enhances that overall cave look, and I'm liking it a lot. Obviously the rock is new and it needs to grow some algae on it so that it looks like the rock's over here, but I like it so far. Here's some more of the dwarf sage that came from the outside pond. It's just a chunk of it. You can see it still has the soil all attached to it, but I went through and I cut off all of those immersed leaves, so you can see it looks a lot more like actual dwarf sage now. This is gonna end up being a really nice carpet. I have a more or less an instant carpet. Look at that, I could just plop that down in there. Won't even have to wait for them to grow. This tank's gonna come down and I'm gonna be putting one of the 20s there. I have to find out another spot to put the other 20. I'm sort of running out of room in here, as I have been for a long time. I might have to move the computer / giant mess that's over here. I don't know yet. I might work out something to put here. I'm not 100% sure yet. I will say this about one of the 20-gallon tanks that I'm setting up. Bamboo shrimp will make an appearance. Many bamboo shrimp, as well as maybe some other shrimp. I don't know, what else do we have down here? I also need to move some of the other crap in here and I want to make like a lounge area where you can sit and you can look at the 125, and then you can scan around the room. We'll skip the 90 and look at the other tanks all from one central point. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I have the stuff for it, but I don't know, guys. There's just a ton of stuff in here. I think I'm going to be up pretty late tonight once I get this video uploaded. So yeah, guys, I think that's going to pretty much do it for today's vlog slash update. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so. Also, head over to Instagram and check out all the pictures and videos that I'm posting over there on a daily basis. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next couple of days with some regularly scheduled content. Thanks again, guys. See you later.